All right. Welcome to Soul Spark Tarot. I'm your host, Mr. Anu. And today we got a daily message just for you. Realize that it's so hard for me to do it on a daily right now, and I'd rather do this and talk on a daily than anything else. And then I'd rather do the things that I can and that I want to on my time when I'm not doing things like this. And I'm just trying to recall and remember. So if you're in that same boat, you got to look at your house placement. You got to look at what Taurus is, and then you got to apply it to your house placement. So for me, that is the intuition. That is the other side of me. A lot of people like to see that as the relationship house, seventh house. But for me, it's a combination. And it's the seventh house mixed with a little bit of eighth, transformation. So the other side of me, the dark side, I'm looking at where I can transform that, where I can transform myself. Like I'm getting an overwhelming sensation of different sweets. So I'm thinking like people needing some love, looking at where you can find some love from the darkness. And it's like it's keeping you stuck. It's keeping you in a boat that makes you feel like you're in a rut. And I think that's okay. Sometimes we just need to sit down. And I realized I had an epiphany. It was the greatest thing, man, and it helped me understand time on the present scene. As we're living life and we're moving and we're trying to get ahead of ourselves, I think what that means is we're getting ahead of the times. And in order to get in alignment, you got to do things more slowly. You got to live a slower life. And that sucks because especially when you want to get things done. So what do? You got to start switching up how you do things. You can't just run 25 miles a day. Sometimes you need to switch it up. And the idea behind switching it up mentally, it allows us to see things that we can repeat every day in a brand new way. I think that's pretty cool how we can see it in a brand new way because that allows us to repeat patterns, view them differently, find what we need in order to heal it. And this temperance is something that happens all the time. It's something that happens over and over. It's something that repeats itself in and of itself. So you got to recognize where it's happening in your world. This moon is the understanding of those cycles come and go. And those cycles that come and go, they change. So different energies can feel different ways in different time frames. Everyone has a mood, but the idea is, can you project a mood that you choose for a self that you don't know, for a person that you have yet to grow into, for a way to understand who you are now, who you used to be, and you can just accept that you'll be that way in the future. But you know that there's some kind of difference because it's the future and not right now. So what do? You got to look for something that is unknown. Have faith. So we say project it. We said you got to get focused on the things that you went through so you can overcome them, and that's the projection of what you're trying to get to. You're trying to get to understanding how you keep doing it. How come you keep making it? How come you keep overcoming? Sometimes you just don't know how you're going to make it through, but sometimes you know that you've done made it through. You done already done did it. You done already, and you done did it. I said that way so you can really see the emphasis that I'm playing on how done it is. Well done, cooked. The meal has been made. It has been pre-packaged and sealed. It's cooked. It's done. pre-ordered. This is the energy of this moon for me, because the energy comes from the relational scenes. But this is Taurus energy, so it's the relational scenes that I value, and I value my mental space. I value understanding that if life is moving at a foot, I can take life in inches. I can understand if life is moving in inches, I can move at a centimeter's pace. And if a centimeter is moving too fast for me, man, let's slow down, let's put it into a milli. I can change. And if it's moving too slow, guess what? I can speed up, but I gotta understand how fast I'm going. Acceleration is real. Taking steps is okay, but I know how to count by two. I know I can skip by two on these stair steps, so I know how to make myself do. I can make myself move. I can make myself groove to a new space that I can see myself in a higher place. But the foundation comes from the value. So I'm thinking value is what we're experiencing. Let's see what our overall energy is in the sense of value. I think the 1111 portal allowed us to step into a new portal, but it's a portal of us in relative to how we value the world. And I think it was us going back in time to revalue things that was here of the past. So I think we're at a point of seeing the value. Yes. So seeing the value of the patience, seeing the value of waiting, that's crazy. So understanding that things take time. The reason why I think this is so important and popping up is because the time frame that it takes to build a family, to build a house, to build new roots, to grow a garden, it takes time, excuse me, in a way that makes you feel like you're stuck. The hangman is what when we're feeling in a stuck position, but when we're in this position, we are in an enlightened position. So that means we're like learning and growing, but it feels slow. So the idea that I'm trying to convey to you all is when you feel like things are dragging and things are slow, go do something that's even slower. You got to put yourself in the details of that motion, and then guess what? Things start to speed up around you. Meditation is the thing that we should be able to get to help us be the slowest. But far often than not, it's not the case. So in order for us to have the real perspective, we got to call judgment on the things that don't help us. The things that we are waiting on that just aren't here. Turn around, we got the things right behind us. But it's a choice, 2 card. Judgment card always comes through, and I love it because I love this angel. There's a few names that keep popping up, but I don't want to get too deep. Judgment. It's a card of 3. So it's like the idea of you waiting on something, waiting on some value. This 2 that comes up and it looking like an 11, it's looking at the portal that you may have chosen. And I think that you're calling judgment and you're allowing yourself to actually step into this space, but it's requiring something else, like a little bit of patience, some value in moving slow, some value in doing things the long way, some value in endurance, value in the things that you just kind of don't really want to do. Value though. So you are appreciating it in some other way outside of the way that you're viewing it. So you have to view what you understand as the new way. And I always say with this card, it's just a matter of turning around. So when you turn something around and you look at something differently, then I think that really helps. So for me, for instance, I think instead of being so focused on like making money and working and doing this stuff, I need to create more. And the reason why that's the case is because I want to. That's it. That's all. I'm at the position where I can want that, and I'm willing to sacrifice everything else to do that, and I've already done that. And sacrifice things I didn't really want to, sacrifice things I knew I needed to, still working on the things that letting go. But the difference is, as I'm calling these judgments, it's helping me understand how I can turn around and value something a little bit differently. Value the pathway and how I'm moving and how things are flowing. Exactly. It allows us to bring in new thoughts that can help us bring new towers. And again, when you're calling judgment, it's important to understand that you want the tower to come. The tower symbolizes the physical severance of the spiritual bond attached. And this spiritual bond that is attached, it has to be defaced, which is the idea of the crown. This material world has to be removed so that soul aspect can be released. And it's like, what has not been physically released? What has not been understood about the purpose of it? Instead of just knowing that it's good to stop smoking cigarettes, like, what value can you place on you not smoking? Because it seems like there's something that doesn't have enough value in it to appreciate it and keep it fueled. There's enough stockpile fuel around, but it's like it won't start. Something can't sustain its own start because it doesn't have the right value. And I think that's where this card is coming from. It doesn't have enough spiritual value, and I don't know where you're getting it from. The spiritual value, I think, has to come from what I call soul inspiration, which is looking at the value from the changes that you've enacted, whether you are conscious of them or not. But if you can see yourself changing, you can see yourself causing these moments, then you cannot see yourself as the bad guy. You cannot see yourself as the bad person. You can just see yourself as a person going through towers and causing them, which is causing the world to turn. It's causing the world to change. It's causing the world to have judgments upon it. But what we're doing right now is we're looking at ways to value the judgments being called a little bit differently. Seeing it in a way to where we can be open to change, which might be a change in perspective, which comes from the material moving towards the spiritual. Or it can go from the spiritual moving to the material. It can happen in both ways. The idea is, what time is it? Right now, you got to realize, and this was re-brought to me today, you got to realize that lightning strikes the highest point, like a lightning rod. And so when you have this ability to conduct energy and bring in these lightning bolts or these towers to knock off your material gain, you got to start to see it's not just the thought, it's what is so high and mighty. What is so high and mighty that it wouldn't even be open? Again, what is so egotistical that I just have to just be locked away with my sword? What are you so deeply focused on? What is the object of your affection? Can you be open? Can you be okay with new, with change, with something that's hard for you? I don't think you can. I know I have a difficulty with that, especially in relationships. Like, trusting people is hard just because people have been proven to be untrustworthy. And so what? I don't mind putting my trust to test. No, not at all. I'm not going to do anything to afflict you. I'm just going to put it in a spot to where if you want it, you can go find it. And it's going to take a long time. That's it. You just got to understand, time is real. And time is equated through distance for our own local understanding. So, as we're calling these judgments on these things, like calling towers on people who are untrustworthy, why would I have to stay around? Why would I be obligated? That's a judgment I can understand, but I was open to you. I had to see you. I had to understand you. I had to get your behaviors into my perspective. So this value thing, that's what we have to start to present ourselves with. A little more of a value thing. Valuing yourself to say no. Valuing yourself to say stop it. Valuing yourself to say not today. Valuing yourself to say too fast, let's slow down. And if you value yourself, I think you will be quite fond of those actions that you take. If you value yourself, I think you'll be happy with this cards that just got laid. If you value yourself and take action on doing something new, then you can see the value in yourself as you move to the value of your own groove. You as the leader, you as the emperor, you as the person bringing in all these fortunes because you keep the wheels turning. And you're understanding how you can be versatile in your churn as you repeat your churn. In other words, you're learning how you can do the same thing. Like me, I'm trying to learn how to use my yap. And I love the music in the background, but I love reading the cards to help you understand this me, these facts that I'm bringing, that we can all experience, we can all see, and I'm just really trying to help you hear yourself. I'm a mirror to you, and as you listen to this, I just want you to really understand yourself. That's the emperor, a person who understands what they're doing, where they're going, and how they can change and how they cannot. What is needed and required as flexibility versus what is needed in order to make sure we're leading. How do we turn this wheel? It's not something that just happens. It's energy that is in motion, but it's being steered. This energy and this energy, they're majors. This energy and this is not, but they're double of each other. And this is a major, and this major is all about duality. What we're doing is you're moving towards moving through the things that you have as a duality. You're learning to value less, but have less to value and value it twice as much. That is what you're doing. And when you're doing that, you find stability through all things because you can find that balance with people now. You have more spaces for people to interact with you. Chemically speaking, this is like carbon. Carbon wants to bond 4 different ways, and that's what this 4 card is representing. I got 4 different ways to stabilize. I'm not too stable on my own, but when I work together with people, when I work together with myself, when I move with both energies within me going towards a common goal, when I can take all the energies and I can move these passions into a singular pathway, and one of these pathways could be connected to another pathway that I'm already in control of, I can start to see the fortunes change for myself because I'm connecting through myself. I'm connecting to you through me. As I make these videos and as we help each other, I'm helping myself because I listen and I play it back. I need to hear myself just as much as you need to hear these words that's coming from me. Maybe you've told yourself these words. Maybe you've told yourself how you're feeling right now as you listen to these words. The judgments are here. You are determining the things in your life that keep you stable versus not. You are helping yourself seek. And sometimes it's hard to give yourself those things, which is why the movement between both sides of you is important. Knowing how to move forward towards stability comes with knowing how to change. It's knowing how to handle change. It's knowing how things will never be stable again in the way that you want them to. The only way you have to do that is to do it for a long time and make it valueless. Make it minuscule. Do the things that matter to you so much right now and make them mean like nothing. It's just something I've been doing for 50 years. I don't know. Just treat it like it's nothing because that's going to give you the momentum to continue having that feeling again with new things that come up because you're exploring. But as you're exploring, you're stable. So there's parts of you that are walking with you because they've been with you for a very long time. These habits, these routines, these traditions, these patterns, these thoughts will just be with you. These desires that you don't even know why you have, they're just hanging out so you say, here's a seat, here's a job, here's a duty. I got 2 people on my mind that I don't know why they'll be on my mind, in my head, written free. And it's always certain times. And I know why when I take a think about it, but I don't understand why when I'm not thinking about it. I got these cards here that wanted to show themselves, and what this shows is exactly what I'm thinking about. I have energies that are old because I haven't explored. The person who I wanted to date, I've always had a desire of this person since I met them. And this is me just being honest. And it just never will happen because at the end of the day, I've been put in positions to question on if I've put in effort. And I have. So the idea is it needs to be reciprocal and it hasn't been. Nothing ethereal. It's been physical action tried. So guess what? I gotta try not. And that's been the easiest. The same thing on the flip side with best friends. People I deem to be my best friends, close to me, it's been hard for me to reestablish that trust. The same thing with the lovers. It's because I get close to people. So I try not. Get close to myself. But that doesn't leave me very much open. So the idea is how can I mature those energies just a little bit more within myself to where I don't care. And it's not that I don't care, it's that I'm careful with my care. So I do not care for those things that are not careful with me. That is the development of the page into a mature knight on the movement scene, movement growing, moving towards the change, moving towards the fortunes, but moving as the emperor because we're stable on the things that move slowly within us on a routine basis. Excuse me. So me trying to establish, let's say doing card readings every day, I don't have the endurance yet. But I'm nearly there to the point to where I've been pretty consistent. So even if it's not every day like I want it to be, the sun doesn't shine every single day. The sun does not shine every single day. The sun is lit every single day. But sometimes it's cloudy over here. Sometimes it's raining. Sometimes I don't see that sun shining. Sometimes it's dark and blue. But that's the whole thing. Even through all of those clouds, even through all those confusions, even through all of these things that you may value or may not, remember, it's all new. This is a new world you're exploring. Give yourself a little bit more time. Go a little bit slower. If you are annoyed with moving slow, that means you need to move slow. Get that part of you that is annoyed and irritated, get that part of you into a new state. Again, if you hungry, you be hungry. You got to do the same thing. You got to sleep on that. Hungry for what? What are you craving? Let that part of you sleep. And the way that you do that is you don't not give it to yourself. What you do is you build up to it. You give yourself things in between. You require additional experiences to associate with obtaining that thing that you want, the thing that you desire. There has to be some in-betweens. But every in-between space that you have is something that you can make up. You can choose which pathway, which steps that you take. So because I make the choice, you gotta have the right dream. You gotta have the right vision. You gotta have the right clear thoughts. And this is why you gotta sleep. That's rest. We say rest, but really what we mean is we want you to connect. Connect to yourself. Give yourself the complete download of the day. Help yourself see more. Help yourself see more of what you do. Help yourself see the passions that you bring, the love that you share, the pain that you've experienced and lived through. This is your intuition. You know how to follow it. You know where it comes from. You know how much love it makes you give to yourself. You know how much passion it helps you bring to yourself. You know how much joy it helps you bring to others in a balanced way, but you just don't know. You're resting on some part of you. You're resting on a part of you that you value, that you don't value enough, I think a lot of the world values it. I like to always see this as the Hierophant, not realizing this is the Hierophant who is asleep on their Hierophant ways. It's like me trying to talk and help people, but not just talking enough, not realizing that I can just talk. And that's like where I'm at because I know I have a lot of good things to say. I've already seen it happen. But why am I sleeping on myself? Oh, because I'm not valuing that enough. I'm not valuing the fact that I've helped so many people with the smallest things and I can notice them. I'm not valuing the fact that I can help people with big things too. I'm not valuing the fact that I can go between, and that's crazy, and that flexibility is valuable in and of itself. I'm not valuing the values that come through and make this volume. I can't see something. It's cloudy. So instead of trying to see, I should slow down and just try to be in the present value. How can I be valuable if I don't feel the value that I'm emitting? This is why I think I need more time, but I feel like I need money to spend my time wisely. But that means I should slow down even more. So what can I do to speed up as I slow down? What can I do to make myself more aligned? What can I do to bring myself into a space that make me say, hey, I really feel good in this place? And that's anywhere. How can I be all places at once? Omni. How can I be confident with myself if what I do is what brings me confidence? Why does action equal confidence in me? How come I can't be moving slow and feel that same confidence in? Why does it feel like taking up time is a burden? Why does it feel like giving time to things is a burden? Giving more time to things that need more time, but you're afraid to see it. How can we make a difference happen? That's the value that we're needing. Let's get a final message. This. Oh man, this combination. So we got the star with the 5. Star with the 5 of swords. Excuse me on that yawn. But that just really relieved a lot of, pressures from me, I guess. This is my card of the should have known better. That's pretty much what this is. The should have known better. This is like, if I had to give a sports analogy, this is like, okay, we're about to come in there and beat you at your home during homecoming, and it's a football game, and guess what? They ended up losing 70-4. How did you get 4? I don't know. 70-3. 70 points to 3, and you thought you was about to come in here and beat me, and you just lost by 67 points? Shut up. That's this card. Oh, this is a basketball game. We beat y'all 206-5? What in the world did you think? Are you dumb? Why would you do that? Think, man. Think. Stop challenging me. That's that kind of energy with this card. It's like people came up against you and they didn't know that you have multiple sides of the thoughts that you were presenting. And so not only did you make them put their swords down, you were able to maximize the 2 in your hand. You didn't even need to use them. So you had 2 extra sides of these thoughts that you got going on, 2 extra points of value, 2 extra points that will help you understand yourself and what you have outside everybody else. In other words, you have 2 things extra in your hand, plus you got your sword, and they only had their one sword. They had the mobility, they had the agility, they had the everything that you could possibly need. And guess what? You still beat them. They say you have a disadvantage. You say you're not even worth my time. That's the vibe. You're not even worth my time. You so bad, I'm going to just beat you so bad and show you that you're so bad. That's how this card is for me. This is our final card. It comes right after the 4. So it looks like you are finding your value. It looks like we're going to be able to get to our next value. It looks like we're going to be able to pierce through the emotions, and the emotions are connected to thoughts. That's why it's important. Even though the thoughts themselves, they aren't here inside the water. There's no anything that the water can do to the swords. But look, there's water in the sky, storms, cloudy. Normally, in every single one of these swords cards, you got some kind of water or some kind of cloud around in them. This is the only one that doesn't. It's like the most practical aspect. That's that sword down here that's encased in stone. In this 4 card, unlike this 4 card is looked at as one part over here and one part over there. It's the 3-to-1 ratio. This card here is even, it's balanced. These are odd numbers. It's viewed as odd numbers. It's me against them. No, it's not about that. It's you against you. Your old ways of thinking versus what you can do now, even when you're carrying more. That is the new. That's the energy of the value. I can do everything I've done in the past, even when I'm doing more. I cannot believe that stopped me. It was so easy. It was just a millimeter of a second. Now it takes 20 hours to get me mad. Not one incident that happened over 5 seconds. I can quell my flames. I cannot have outbursts. I can maintain my frame. I can do all the things even when I have additional pressures. You're nothing. You're just a distraction. I'm the star. I can balance the water. I can balance the earth. And I can balance through the changes. And I can see my light. That's nice. I appreciate y'all for being here. Go find that value. It's here for you already. Peace.